Hello, everyone, and welcome to this space at this time in this place. So, I am using my cloth map again today from the collector's edition of God of War. And so, it's not embroidered though, because you can't see it. Okay. There's like this little world tree right here. And I almost expected for it to be embroidered, and it's not. So that's fine. But yeah. And then like there's all these runes over there. You can see those. It's pretty cool. I never use it, of course. I get like collector's edition stuff and then like to collect it. Okay, so today what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be searching today. Because I feel like lately I've been seeing more, hearing more, exposed a bit more directly to, let's just say, some masculine energies that would seek to keep feminine energies in whatever place and space that they would seek to keep feminine energies. And I'm not a fan of that energy personally. So what we're going to look for is how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll extend it out even more. So it's going to be the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune. I was going to do the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Emperor. Because the Emperor is an energy that knows how to work with feminine energies, right? The Emperor is the masculine energy that's been selected by the feminine energies. That's why he has the Ankh. But I could take it a step further. Oh, that's going to be in the extended. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. I might do that on the other channel. Or maybe I'll do it here. We'll see what I feel like. So the Hierophant, the Wheel of Fortune, the Emperor, then Death and the Sun. Death and the Sun sort of being like that energy that goes beyond. But I don't know if it's like, let's take this a step at a time. And so the reason why, in whatever video that was recently, I called any male or masculine energy that would be emasculated by a powerful woman or anything weak, is because we're coming into a time where it's going to be important for feminine energies in women to be empowered and to be allowed the space to occupy with the fullness of their presence, right? And so the time for little dude energies who get like they experience some shrinkage because they experience they come across a powerful it's too important for the feminine to be empowered in her power, using her voice and standing in her authenticity, standing in her fullness right now, to be sparing egos. So that's why I said that. Also, it's a time of like kind of sort of like either you're going to do the work or you're not. Either you're going to do the thing that, you're being led and guided to do, or you won't. And it kind of sort of needs to be done right now. I should do a reading featuring this. Oh, the S rune. I wonder what land that goes to. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 realms here. I guess here's the 8th that's been destroyed or something. That's probably Asgard. And then I guess the 9th would be Midgard, which this is. See, here's the Bifrost Bridge in the middle. And the runes symbolize the different realms. This one might be Hell. The red one should be Muspelheimer, right? That would make sense. Muspelheimer. Hellheimer. Jotunheimer is the land of the giants. Maybe that's the S rune. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because like there would be some men and masculine energies that would even seek to gatekeep like intuitive spaces, and you would think that women and feminine energies have a little bit like they're more respected in intuitive spaces, since we all know the saying of women's intuition and how intuitive they can be and how like just connected they are to those realms. But even there males and masculine energy finds a way to suppress them. And it's like, okay, girl, well, the time for that is over. I don't know what decks I'm going to use, though, which is why I haven't pulled anything out yet. I guess the Tarot Apocalypsis is there. I want to use the Wild Unknown Tarot, too. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use the Tarot Apocalypsis to pull the cards before and after the Hierophant, the Wheel, and the Emperor. And then I'm going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot to pull the cards before and after the cards that came before and after the cards that clarified the Hierophant, the Wheel, and the Emperor, if that makes sense. To put together a story. And these colors are way off, but that's fine. I don't know why we're using this. Well, I do know why. I couldn't find the thing that I usually use, and I was like, oh, I'll use the other thing. So that's why I'm using this thing today. So that's how we get this. And I feel like just sitting here for a second. Is that Ymir? Of Ymir? Brothers. The brothers, for the brothers. That's a long word. I don't know. Okay, let's just get into this. So that's why I'm doing this. You know, and if I'm a hypocrite in this area, if I've ever made, well, first of all, anyone, but especially within the context of this, a woman or a feminine energy feel that they're misintuiting or whatever, then I apologize first and foremost, because that is never my intention. And if ever I speak on something, I try to never speak on how anyone uses their gifts, because that's not, whatever. I may not appreciate, certain perspectives, because I think sometimes, almost unavoidably, we can interject a bit of our own into the messages. And I'm the same. And so sometimes, to me, it seems like a little, oh, here's Amir up here. That's who this is. Sorry, that's Amir. Who was slain for Midgard. All right, sorry. Goodness. I may not necessarily agree with some of the limitations or beliefs that I see coming through, but reality is a ever fluid, flexible thing, right? Let's see. Will this stand? It will. Yes. Yeah, it's just been in my experience a little bit more lately, and I am very much so not appreciative of it. So that's why I'm going to do this, maybe in some part, to help masculine energies transmute some stuff so that they don't feel so threatened or so entitled to go in and to correct someone else or try to counterintuit what they've intuited in a way that very much so, kind of sort of preserves the status quo of things when it's like, okay. But almost unrelatedly, that's one of the reasons why, you'll see me get into cards and stuff, but I don't necessarily want to dive too far into the occult. I'm not going to dive too far into the occult because for me in my practice, I'd like for it to be a little bit more personally within self and not so dependent on, rituals and tools and stuff like that for me. But you should probably already have guessed that because, I am the person that's like, I don't want to get the crystal. I want to find the frequency. I'd rather find the frequency than the material thing. Also, I've been traveling a lot in dreams lately. Lots of boats, buses, trains. Planes, trains, and automobiles. You know, no planes yet. Ooh, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, come through, Mama. Yes. Hey. Who are you? Is this Shakti? Let's see. Where's my book? Where's my book? Here it is. I know the King of Pentacles is Vishnu. Oh, Kim Huggins. I was like, King Huggins, what? Kim. This is Lakshmi, duh. Goddess of Fortune and Prosperity. The material world around us is recognized for its capacity to sustain and nourish us, providing for our most basic needs. We need food, water, oxygen, and shelter for our most rudimentary survival. However, the material world also provides the parts of life that allow us to grow beyond beginnings, to live well, to eat healthily, to enjoy our lives. As the queen of the suit of the material world, the Queen of Pentacles maintains the essence and vitality of everything that creates and sustains us, from the food chains of the environment we live in to the way in which our time and energy is transmuted into wealth, in turn transmuted into well-being and products. The ultimate nurturer and nourisher, for she is water and earth, fertile and fecund earth, full of everything that is good. There's that fecund word again. Shout out to Russ. I feel like I'm always shouting out Russ. I just have a lot of appreciation for that man and everything that he does. An immense amount of appreciation and respect. Okay. Yeah, so in one of my dreams last night, I was in like this little courtyard and there was some feminine energy. And I think in the space of the dream, she was basically trying to teach me how to like do remote viewing or something like that. Which, like, at first it was fairly easy because I was in like an enclosed space and I kind of sort of already just throw my consciousness all over the place a little bit. But then, like, when it was like came to like following that out in the world with like different levels of elevation, I kept going too big picture to follow the thing. And maybe that's also speaking to me in real life. Too big picture sometimes to not like so big picture sometimes that I miss the like the important details or the here and now or the like, you know, how we get there from here type of energy. And that part was difficult because again it's like I couldn't stay on the ground. It'll be interesting if that becomes a new theme in dreams. And whenever I do something new in dreams like that, it typically happens frequently. Judgment. Oof. Bottom of the deck is the Princess of Cups. Who are you? I would say Iris, but I'm like 99% sure it's not Iris. But I don't know who else it would be. In Greco-Roman mythology. I need bookmarks in this book. Swords. Cups. Here's the Prince. The Princess of Cups is Psyche, Goddess of the Soul and Awakening. So Goddess of the Soul and Awakening at the bottom of the deck with Judgment here, while there's the Queen of the Material World, Queen of the Material Plane. Nurture and Nourisher, Ultimate Nurturer and Nourisher. And the Judgment card in this deck I find interesting because you see some people sort of like lamenting at the bottom. Other people are learning to fly at the top. Some people are like stranded out there. It just kind of sort of speaks to the journey overall. And yeah, I'm trying to do this in a much gentler way. I guess. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. Maybe if we weren't in the time that we were in, and maybe, I don't know if it's the existentialist in me, if that's even the word that I want to use. That's like, it's time for us to do this now. So the time of like babying people and pacifying egos and tiptoeing and pussyfooting around, it's like over. It's time to do the thing. It's time to rise up. It's time to embody our highest of selves the most that we can. And are we going to get triggered? Are we going to stumble? Are we going to fall at times? Yeah. Because, we're human and we're learning and we're growing. But it's like the effort is what's really sort of needed right now. And if your ego or your masculinity or your pride or your self-worth is so fragile that you will see someone else in their power, maybe someone that you are socially conditioned to view as lower than you or beneath you, and that, causes some kind of reaction within you, Hierophant in the sun, then it's time to like get over that, right? Because we need everybody. That includes the women. It includes, natives and indigenous people. It includes minorities. It includes men. It includes the majority. It's like everybody. And it's like, spirituality has been so, it's surprisingly rigid in some ways, I guess I could say. And I mean, at the end of the day, even these cards, who came up with the numbering system? When it comes to numerology, who decides what numbers mean? When it comes to the chakras and the energetic systems, a lot of that we sort of take from someone else and it resonates, so we trust it as true. But in that, sometimes we don't allow it to be more. And there's a lot of more energy right now. So if your favorite or least favorite feminine, female, woman reader is out here doing or saying something that contradicts what, your male, masculine, occult, hidden, secret knowledge, whatever says, then I don't know, maybe listen, with the yin, more receptive, more intuitive energies, I would listen personally. But I guess I'm not necessarily typical in a lot of ways either. I don't really feel threatened by powerful women. I kind of admire powerful women, honestly. A lot. Actually. I really do. Okay. One more, and then this will be done. And it's a shame that, I guess some would think that they could take and still have all the same rights and abilities and usages as if it were given, as if it were earned. And that's not the case. That's probably why the world is falling apart now. Masculine energy has gone as far as it can go by itself with stolen information and stuff like that, right? Six of Cups. I will timestamp when I actually start. Because I may be here for a minute. Ten of Swords with the Five of Cups and the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck. This is an energy, because the past has been what the past is, and because a lot of things are laid out for us in the way that it's laid out for us, this right here is an energy of picking low-hanging fruit, right? Because it's like we come into this Ten of Swords, which is supposed to be, hey, look, here's a 30. Here's XXX. So that's Superwoman. I remember I had my high school biology teacher. We were talking about, what did they call it? Like trichromosomal whatevers, right? When you have like 3 gender chromosomes instead of just 2, right? So either an XXX or an XXY. And she was like, oh, one day I was curious, what trichromosomal woman is. So I Googled XXX, and she did this in front of the class. And, of course she didn't find what she was looking for. Shout out to Mrs. Barker. I accidentally superglued my finger to her husband's finger one day when we were making little DNA necklaces. So we did a cheek swab, and then we put the cheek swab stuff in something to unravel the DNA so you could actually see it. And then we super glued the top on, and somehow my finger got super glued to his finger, and we had to like pull them apart, and it was, inconvenient to say the least. But that was DNA day. I was a little nerd. I went to DNA day. I went to Mole day, where you stay after school and do little science experiments. I liked it. It was fun. But this is a low-hanging fruit energy. And it doesn't necessarily go this deep, which is why there are 6 cups pointing upwards to nothing. And then here's further confirmation, the 3 of Swords. That's why there are 6 cups pointing towards the moon, and the 1 pointing towards the sun is in reverse. Because in going after what is easy, it's like we never really sort of expand or grow. And this Princess of Cups psyche associated with awakenings after judgment and the Queen of Pentacles, it's like it's surface level isn't going to cut it anymore. Not if you want the things that a lot of us have been sort of asking for and wanting. Oh, there's devil energy. Yeah. Ooh, 9 of Wands though. Yeah, and with that 10 of Swords energy, it's like there's supposed to be an element of finality and completion. We're supposed to be sort of gaining mental clarity and then moving on freer from those, past sort of illusions, I guess is the easiest way to say it. But with that 5 of Cups immediately following and the 7 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, a lot of times it's not the case, unfortunately. Life is hard and it's full of pain and difficulties, and none of us really know what we're doing down here. We're all just doing our best, and sometimes someone or something comes along and it gives you an answer, and it's easier to just take the answer than continue to sort of look for one that may actually suit you more. Been there, done that, right? As we all have, I'm sure. But there comes a time when if you want more, you got to do more. And there comes a time when sometimes you just got to do more, because that's where the energies are. And that's where the energies are. Okay. So I'm going to give this 3 good shuffles. Well, 3. If nothing comes out. LOL. Kidding. Hold up. 1, 2. Well, let's do the Heart of the Celtic Cross, right? So we got the 2 of Cups crossed by Judgment, with the Prince of Cups in the past, the 10 of Swords underlying the Princess of Cups in the future, and then the Queen of Pentacles at the crown. Bottom of the deck is the Empress, Inanna. Love her. She's one of the energies in this deck, I believe, that mentions that it's the Queen and the Empresses and the Princesses who choose what king will be sort of, the bloodline nobility lies in the women, and they go out and they select the men. And I've just finished watching Rising of the Shield Hero again, and that's also a matrilineal sort of matriarchal country. And so the whole time the dude was under the impression that, the king, and the king is not great in that show, that the king was the one that was like born into royalty. And then, the king's been making his life miserable. And then towards the end of the show, he finds out that it's actually the queen who was born royal. And the king married into it. And he just can't believe it because of the attitude of the king. And the person who was supposed to be left in charge ended up perishing before we sort of even get introduced into the show. Right? That happens before we even get there. And so it's like, in an ideal world, the reasonable, rational, very sort of, capable queen would have been there to take care of things. But she was called away because of catastrophic happenings. And the person that was left in charge was killed because of said catastrophic happenings, leaving her lesser competent husband in charge, who also, greedily and selfishly screwed up the balance that was supposed to be preserved in the world, and then proceeded to not even inform them that the entire world that they're in is experiencing these catastrophes, not just the country that they were summoned into. And, it was supposed to be a one hero per country type of deal, but this country summoned all four heroes, and so now only, the rest of the world has just been outside of our own awareness, suffering. And it's a whole mess because, some dude. So it's just interesting, that parallel, I guess. It feels like what's preventing us from really connecting to self and others and experiencing growth and evolution is this what we think things kind of sort of have to be type of energy. We're heading towards awakening in the future for the purpose of having a more abundant earth, almost like a stronger Gaia. And it's interesting because, where was it? Was it the ozone or something like that? Where scientists were like, oh my gosh, when we stop effing things up, the earth actually takes care of itself. And it's like, what? Crazy! Almost like it's been here for a while and it knows what it's doing, if we stop interfering with it. What? Really? Can't believe it. I'm shocked. And I think we forget that sometimes. And maybe this is also a message to me, and you can also take it if it resonates, that sometimes with less interference, things actually work out better. When you allow things to just sort of take their turn, or run their course. When you allow things to run their course. I think this is also an energy here that's like, in the past there's this energy of like thinking that we know what's going to move us forward and us doing that. But it's like all of that, it seems very reactionary with this Ten of Swords and proactive in a way that isn't really helpful. This is because we think we know something with judgment. We think we know better. But if we were open to like just the flow between ourselves and the environment, masculine and feminine, us and our higher selves, our more intuitive selves, even us and our sort of lower selves, because in like the lower self, it's almost like a child that throws a tantrum. It does it for a reason. It does it to get attention, right? There's something that it's lacking, and good or bad, it receives what it's looking for when it does certain things. So a lot of times it does not great things, right? But if we were open to the flow, and if we abandon sort of everything we think we know, then we would get to that space of awakening. And I really feel like this Empress it's almost like a Gaia energy, but it's almost like in general, like feminine energy just knows. It just knows what we need. And so when we continue to shut feminine energy down for what a textbook says or for what some guru said who lived a long time ago, who probably actually in his time would have told you to respect and honor feminine energies, some of them at the very least, like they would know. Oh, look, there's that Eight of Swords. I love the Eight of Swords in this deck. Within this context, at the very least, it's like, yeah, no, sorry. Bio-toxic masculine energy, bio-toxic feminine energy, ain't got time for ya. We're moving forward. I gotta make sure I'm not putting reversals in this deck. Oh, wait, I had reversals in Nope, I forgot. I had reversals in here last time, didn't I? Yeah, we're taking care of that. We're taking care of that right now. Right now. We're taking care of that right now. Doesn't look like there are too many though. No, it wasn't that many. Six of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. See, the Three of Pentacles was in reverse. And again, it's this energy where it's almost like feminine energy isn't even given its proper space to contribute fully to get us to move forward. That's why all these dudes are like struggling in the boat when the feminine is holding the answer off to the side, but no one gives her the time or space to actually express that. And the Hermit is a woman. Looks like it, at the very least. Yeah, see, she been off to the side, connecting, getting all the answers, while this masculine energy is sitting here thinking that he knows it all with this King of Swords energy. Just sitting here, like, unable to see what the next move, and it's like, okay, well, she already knows how the whole game is gonna play out, and if you would listen to her, you would know that. And it's like, okay, it's not, like 17, 70, 14, 50, 13, 20, whatever anymore. A woman in the sciences? Preposterous. It's like, okay, well, turns out a lot of them are kind of sort of smarter than dudes. And I think it's been, like, proven. It's like up until high school or something like that. There was some age where it's like, boys perform better than girls or something, but then it sort of flips. And a lot of major discoveries were made by women, and then, taken credit for by a man. Not to put too much of anyone's anything out there yet, but that was also a topic of conversation lately. And then it's like, I get online and I see like community posts from female content creators who bring so much light and awareness to these spaces about how, more often than not, it seems some dude is talking down at them or whatever. Two of Swords. With that Prince of Cups, exactly. That's that energy where they think they know how to solve it. Ooh! Look what's at the bottom of the deck. The devil. Don't let him use y'all. Give them their space. Give them their time. Let them shine. Maybe it's because I've grown up with, like, a lot of strong women in my family that I just, respect. But maybe not, because I feel like some people grow up around strong women and they still don't really respect women. I don't know. It's just time for us to do better. So, somebody in the ether, spirit, please help me help these masculine energies. Allow for the feminine energy to take her rightful place in space on the throne. How can we transmute this? How can we transmute this? Maybe I should look for the Alchemist instead of the Wheel of Fortune. I think I will do that. So we're going to do the Hierophant, Temperance, and then the Emperor. So let's get started. And I'm going to pull from the top because Nine of Cups, Temperance, and the World. Well, that was quick. Nine of Cups, Temperance, and the World. Speaking of wish fulfillment and a whole new world and all that good stuff, right? Okay. I mean, the alchemization is right at the top of the deck, which I personally love, which means that we're sort of in the space of this happening. Eve! Hello! Yeah, I'm like, come on. As if we ain't had, Marie Curie's and, oh my gosh, I can't even remember her name. The girl the woman who discovered the structure of DNA, and then Watson and Crick came in and took credit for it. I love that this was at the top of the deck, though, because that means like we're actively in that space right now. Four of Cups in reverse. We'll tell I'll get you fixed. And look, the Four of Cups in reverse, it's a woman. Just waiting for her time that never would have came. Okay, so we're just gonna have to make it that time. It's just gonna have to be that time, because if we keep waiting around for masculine energies to, you know, admit that they don't have anything figured out, that they're sort of guiding us in circles, and that we're gonna be repeating this ad infinitum, then we're gonna be here ad infinitum, and we ain't got ad infinitum kind of time. So it's just time. It's just going to have to shift. It's just going to have to change, and it may make a lot of people uncomfortable. We may be sort of going against a lot of traditions or whatever, but it's time for what it's time for. Oh, so if we would have went with the wheel, then we would have gotten the Three of Pentacles and the Tower. I feel like the Three of Pentacles and the Tower, it's almost this energy of like some men would rather watch the world burn than to admit that someone who they previously disregarded or someone that they view as less than, like rather than allow them to contribute and admit that they don't know, they'd rather watch the whole world burn. They'd rather the whole tower sort of fall apart. And that's, you know, kind of sort of the reason why we need to just hurry up and get rid of it, you know. So let's transmute this. How are you doing today, Eve? Oh, look how far at the bottom of the deck these... Oh, wait, that's it. Oh, oh goodness. Okay, well, the Emperor is coming out with the Moon card, so I don't know if we're going to get any resolution here, which is fine, I guess, because, you know, life is meant to be lived, and we're meant to experience it, or whatever. So it looks like the Hierophant is coming out at the very bottom of the deck, which is interesting, because last time the Hierophant came out closer to the top, and the card I was looking for was like almost at the very bottom, I think. I mean, it came out in the space of where the Emperor is now. It wasn't like at the top of the top, it was still pretty far into it. Excuse me. Oh, here we go. Oh, what? Let's throw a wrench in it. So Ace of Cups and Judgment. It's the bottoms left. So we have the Magician, the Hierophant, and the All-Gifted. Okay. Alright. So I feel like the Magician, the Hierophant, and the All-Gifted, it's this energy where masculine energy has been in control for so long that it attributes all progress, all evolution to itself. I feel like masculine energy sees itself as the All-Gifted because of everything that it's created. But masculine energy has also created these systems where they are really the only ones in certain positions. They've created systems that further glorify masculine energy and further separates feminine energy or pushes her off to the side. They've created these spaces where either A, feminine energy isn't even allowed to contribute, or B, every contribution that a feminine energy makes, a masculine then comes and takes credit for, or a masculine sort of erases. That's why she's standing here holding the box. But it feels like there's something that feminine energy would not give to this Hierophant. Like, if you look at her expression, it's like she's guarding that box. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's like she's guarding that box from this Hierophant. And again, when we look at the Emperor is given the Ankh by the Empress. It's not something that he can take. It's not something that he can steal. It doesn't work like that. It has to be bestowed. Hey, yeah, I saw that. I saw your comment when she uploaded on the Spiritual Chrysalis, I think, the video about, you know, sometimes when you're pulling cards, you don't get a perfect, pretty bow ribbon solution or answer. to put on top of the heavy energies. Sometimes heavy energy is just heavy energy, and we have to go through it and find our own way out because it's such a sacred and important part of the journey. I saw that. Yeah. I was like, oh snap. Because I know you've been saying that that's, hey Kizzy Cat, I know you've been saying that's the next Zodiac series. I did kind of want to put an energy oracle card in between these, but I don't think I will. So, where we sit currently, the Nine of Cups and the World. This is interesting because in this Temperance card, this feels very Mulan. It feels very... Oh, who are they? This is like all of those, like the women in history who would disguise themselves as men. Because it feels like in reality, it's this divine feminine energy. But on the surface, it has to present as this masculine alchemist in order to get these things sort of done. It feels like feminine energy has been sort of working in disguise. But, you know, feminine energy working in disguise may be sort of overly inflating masculine Hierophant ego. Like, oh, that's a man. A man did that. It's like, actually, no, that was a woman. Actually, no, that was someone else who's been marginalized, whose contributions have been suppressed. It wasn't you. And then over here, here's that Cerberus energy again. Cerberus being the one who encourages conversation, who asks us to live with like dignity and grace instead of being so focused on accumulating material wealth. That energy came out recently, even though it's like different dogs. And the Prince of Wands is here. This is interesting. Marie Antoinette. Ooh, my history is not any better. I feel like I should know who Marie Antoinette is. Marie Antoinette wasn't the let them eat cake, was she? Was Marie Antoinette let them eat cake? I don't know. I know there was a few. I feel like there was one who I should know, but I just completely forgot. Oh, snap, is this the world card? The Valentinian Gnostics see the world, describe the union between a believer and their heavenly counterpart, the light, in terms of a wedding, and it is also suggested that initiation into the Valentinian mysteries involve the preparation of a bridal chamber. In voodoo, a devotee may choose to marry a Iwa, spirit, in a ceremony similar to the Catholic rite. The Iwa will appear in possession and one of the priest or priestesses, and another priest or priestess will perform the wedding ceremony. The couple will both give vows, a marriage contract will be signed, and the guests will enjoy a wedding feast. Who is this for? For the lovers? Looks like. Yeah, this is for the lovers. The Hyros Gamos, sacred marriage. And the Two of Cups did come out with judgment sort of standing in the way. So maybe there are certain... Joan of Arc. I think it's... Because I was going to say Joan of Arc. But I know they went looking for Joan. And so I couldn't remember if she disguised herself or not. I almost said Joan of Arc. Let's go with Joan of Arc. And that could also be what this is, right? This could be this someone officiating the sacred union, sacred marriage between man and spirit with the blood and then the elixir over here. I'll pull it up. Right. So anyway, I'm going to get into the wild unknown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the card before and after each of these to further clarify. And then I'll know what I'm looking at, more or less. I'm actually going to pull from the bottom of the deck on this one Ten of Swords, Eight of Wands, and the Devil. See, I feel like it's these spaces that we sort of keep ourselves in that make us so susceptible to devil energy. It's because of hurt and pain and trauma that we don't really work through or let go of that we remain so susceptible. 10 plus 8 is 18. That's moon energy. And it's not necessarily a moon because of the things that we don't see. It's a moon because of the things that we don't want to see. Because of the things that we actively avoid. Marie Antoinette dressed as peasants. Okay. So yeah. So Joan of Arc is looking like where the consensus lies. What am I looking for? Before I keep going, I'm looking for the moon, the Son of Wands, the Nine of Cups, the World. There is no All Gifted card here in the Magician. It's interesting that there is no All Gifted because it's almost like there is no sort of resolution to that energy. Almost. So the Five of Wands, the Nine of Cups, the Three of Wands. Here, let's do this. Here's the moon. So the moon is coming out with Temperance, the moon, and the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles almost representing that space where a more divine feminine energy is, because she can't interfere or interact with the world as is. So the World card is coming out with the Two of Wands, the World, and the Three of Pentacles, which I love because that means we're sort of like moving forward in a new collaborative space between these two energies. Can you see? Here's the Magician. So the Star, the Magician, and the Empress. And then last is the Son of Wands. Did I already pass the Son of Wands? Okay. So Strength, the Son of Wands, and the Hermit. It's interesting because, again, in the Tarot Apocalypsis, it looked like there was a feminine energy sitting in the space of the Hermit that had like all of the answers. She had the solutions. So the bottom of the deck is Death and the Fool. And so, you know, it's a live birdie or a dead birdie. What's that Bye Bye Birdie? I think I went to go see Bye Bye Birdie in elementary school, but I don't remember anything about it. It was at a playhouse or whatever, so, you know, that happened. It's like I have the memory of going. I can almost remember, like, the people on stage, but I don't remember anything about it. I feel like my memory is a little weird like that. Like, there are movies that I remember watching that I just don't remember, like, anything about. But anyway. So we have the Star, the Magician, the Empress, with the All Gifted. This is interesting because, again, with this old masculine energy, it's like it's looking at the Empress and it's trying to recreate what she does. But it's like it's contented to keep her in the dark with the Star and the Empress. It's contented to keep her in the dark, but to sort of try to mimic and recreate everything that she does. But there's this energy here that is like, this isn't even Empress energy in her light. That's why everything almost feels so diluted, if that makes any sense. Because again, she's withholding. with this all gifted. And there isn't an all gifted card, so I can't even like go into this deck and find out. This is a card that's unique to the Tarot Apocalypses. And it's Pandora. Pandora was like all of the gods contributed to the creation of Pandora. And goddesses. They all contributed. And there's this hourglass that's behind her. I don't know. I don't think it's for me to. Because again, this feels like a dead end road. This feels like this energy can't go any further than this. And with that star energy, it's like it's something that's so far away that it doesn't provide the light that we would sort of need. Oh my gosh, I forgot to timestamp. I'm just gonna move the timestamp. I'll just say 45 minutes because I'm at 50 minutes right now. So into the cards about 45 minutes. I completely forgot. It's fine. What's interesting though is that again, it's like this old Hierophant energy has been taking inspiration. We'll be nice and say they've been taking inspiration from Empress energy. And it's like it tries to go in and police certain feminine spaces while it's only even experienced like a fraction of what this energy is. It's a hollow shell of itself. Instead of this masculine energy being the sun, it's a star. You know, cue insecurities, cue all of that stuff. You know, the emasculation and stuff like that. And then it's like they're not even getting the truth of Empress energy. This energy is hollow. Everything of substance Pandora has kept with her. But because this energy has been in control for as long as it's been in control, and because it's structured the systems the way it's structured in them, from the outside you would maybe even think that, yeah, you know, this masculine energy is responsible for a lot of stuff, if not everything. But again, it's like, you know, pay attention to the person holding the pen. Or keep in mind the person holding the pen when you read the story. Over here, I love that Temperance energy is coming out with this energy of collaboration around the world. Like, to move forward, for the world to progress forward, we need to work together. Everything needs the space to show up authentically. And I think here, around this Nine of Cups, there's a little bit of feminine energy itself that's a bit scattered because of what sort of masculine energy has demanded that it be for a long time. Like, I saw somebody make a post on Instagram a while ago, and they were like, you know, we got women trying to do this and do that. Like, women should do what women are good at, and men should do what men are good at. And I replied, I'm like, well, you know, men, at least here, have been telling women what they can and can't do for how long now? So who's to say that women aren't actually better at some of the things that men think that they're good at, that women have never been allowed the opportunity to, you know, get into? And sometimes I think we can have this attitude of like, well, let's act like everything is solved. And then like that, like the solution is to pretend like everything is fine. And it's like, no, right? First, we have to balance the scales and then we can move forward, right? We can't just, you know, move forward pretending that everything is balanced when it's not, because then that sort of, you know, keeps things as they are. And again, it's that energy of like, if things don't change, then things don't change. So this is an energy up here where feminine energy is starting to receive from a very personal and intimate space more completely what their, I don't want to say what their role is, but like all of the things that were not permitted to them before. And I love that this is a 5, a 9, and then a 3, right? So the 5 is the Hierophant, the 3 is the Empress, the 9 is the Hermit, which again, that's where the feminine energy is. And the 9 of Pentacles, again, sort of representing that energy of like divine feminine out in her own space, in her own world, because she doesn't have a foothold or a presence here. And at the same time that we're allowing divine feminine energy to stand in her authentic right, we're simultaneously allowing for divine masculine energy to do the same. And as divine masculine, as things come in and shift and transmute more towards the more divine masculine side, the energy that's, you know, blessed by the Empress rather than the Hierophant energy, which, you know, more traditionally has taken from her or tried to, then that's what sort of like this shift, right? And I love that strength is here with the Hermit. Also, we have the Hermit and the 9 of Pentacles, Temperance and the 9 of Pentacles, Strength and the Hermit. This is an energy around this Prince of Wands that is strong enough in its own masculinity that, again, it's not intimidated or threatened or emasculated by a powerful woman working in her right. This is an energy that will see a powerful woman, that will rise and that will work with her, that will support and balance her as she supports and balances him. Because again, moving forward, it's about this collaboration. But we can't do this if feminine energy is still like not even allowed to see all of what they see. Because again, you know, it's been kept in the dark over here. So how do we transmute this? I mean, I guess it's a pretty much no-brainer by allowing them to come into their own, right? Feminine energies, women and feminine energies, to learn and discover their strength and their voice, to stand in it fully without, you know, these old energies over here trying to be like, oh, you know, what do you know? That's wrong, blah, 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 blah. According to this system, it's actually this. And it's like, okay, well, how well is that system sort of working out for you? You know what I mean? And then here's this new masculine energy that is willing to sort of, you know, not only to collaborate, but to also come more into itself. So I guess let's go back through this and look for Death and the Sun. So the Sun is coming out with the Ace of Cups, which is gorgeous. Oops. And the High Priestess. The Ace of Cups and the High Priestess around the Sun, which is most divine masculine energy. And it's interesting that the Moon is already down here. And this High Priestess has a big old moon in it, right? So the Ace of Cups and the High Priestess. And now let's look for Death. Oops. Oh goodness. Oh gosh. So Death is coming out with the 3 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. And here's that 5 of Wands energy again. And then here's another 3. 5 and 3, 5 and 3. See, so we got the Ace of Pentacles and the 2 of Wands. Here's the 2 of Wands again with the world. Ace of Pentacles is kind of sort of symbolic of the world, right? So it's interesting that they came back out in that way. The 5 of Wands in this deck, to me, it looks like a setup. It's like, oh, look what we did. See, it's like, or they'll find, it's that whole thing where it's like, oh, you know, we can't have a female president because what if she's on her period and she starts World War III or whatever? And then you look at some of the people we've had running stuff, and it's like, okay, well, they're not having periods, so what's the excuse for, what they've been doing right now? Anyway, so now I'm going to look for the Ace of Cups, the High Priestess, the Three of Wands, and the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands and the Three of Wands are already here. So death is sitting in the space of this Nine of Cups up here. Which, a lot of us are in the space of asking for a release from old systems. We're asking for old systems to be transformed. It's also interesting that death comes out in this space in line with temperance. Death is what I was originally going to look for, but then I was like, oh, death is a little harsh, so let's go with the Wheel of Fortune instead. The Father of Cups, the High Priestess, the Ten of Pentacles. And then the Ace of Cups. I actually saw the Ace of Cups. Ouch! Before. Here it is. The Nine of Swords. Another 9 on top of this Hermit. The Ace of Cups. And the Ten of Cups. With the Two of Swords and the Four of Wands at the bottom. Again, Two of Swords was the energy of that dude at the chessboard. Four of Wands is when he allows for feminine energy to come in. And it's like she just sees the whole thing. And then he's not like, he's like, thanks, girl. Thanks for the assist, babe. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I would have never figured that out. How did you get the answer? And she's like, oh, it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, oh, wow, yeah, that makes sense. I would have never thought of that. And she's like, that's why I'm here, because you never would have thought of it. That's why we're both here. You do the things that I don't, and I do the things that you don't. Together, we are an unstoppable team. So anyway, around the High Priestess, it's the Father of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. This is sitting in the energy of this is what feminine energy has been waiting for to give her blessing, to fully cooperate with these Fathers of Cups, right? And the Father of Cups is the most effeminate king. And in that way, hopefully, or he can be, the king that is the least obsessed with how other people perceive his masculinity, or how they perceive him. He's perfectly fine being this black swan, right? He ain't need to be nobody else. He's not trying to hide or whatever. This is the energy that the Son of Cups is now coming into. And the Son of Cups, well, I saw the Prince of Cups a few times earlier. But that was the reading where it's like the Son of Cups doesn't want to be his father. This is the Son of Cups that grows up to be someone different, someone that is capable of participating in a very earthy, observable, manifestive on this reality plane way. This Ace of Cups, I think this speaks to what it's almost like this energy up here. It's like just as feminine energy has to break away from what Hierophant has sort of put the place that Hierophant has put her in, masculine energy is going to have to break away from the place that Hierophant energy has put it in. And so, in some ways, for some masculine energies, they may perceive it as a step down. But there's also this knowing that it's like it never was what it was portrayed to be in the first place. And to continue to act like it is, or ever was, is to put us on a path where this continues to be separate from us. Empress, princess, queen will never choose a masculine energy like that. And he will continue to stomp around and pout and make everyone else's life miserable because she doesn't want him. He's not a match. You know what I mean? It's like if she gave everything that she had to him, then he would, I don't know, do weird stuff with it. It wouldn't serve the purpose that it was intended for. It's like it wouldn't bring abundance to all. It would just sort of further inflate his ego, and then it creates this crazy sort of dynamic that we really don't need on Earth because we have enough crazy dudes in power thinking that, they can do anything and everything, or crazy dudes in like money who think they can do anything and everything. This is speaking to, I think, this almost, this energy feels like this energy. It feels like there's a lot more to the transmutation of masculine energy than what it would sort of than I guess I would think, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of sort of programming that would have to be undone. There's a lot of truths that he may have to face. And it also feels like there may be a period of time where it's like he has to be in a space to, again, work with the fullness of feminine energy and allow her that space. So there may be a point in time where it's like he's adjusting to it, where it's like, he may say or do something that isn't befitting of the person that he is becoming or the person that he already is. And so it's like there's a little bit of a learning curve, but with the Ten of Cups, it's like it's well worth it. Because with the Ten of Cups upright, each cup gets all 5 colors instead of them only getting one. It's more balanced overall. 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. Like, this is gorgeous. There's nothing on the feminine side of this. But that wasn't necessarily my intention today either. It's like, how can we get these dudes and these masculine energies to allow feminine energies her rightful space and place? So that, we can stop it with all this condescending type of weird, like entitled sort of energy. And it may be interesting to hear me say that someone else is condescending, because I feel like even though it's not my intention and that's not what anything I do is rooted in, I think it can be sort of perceived as very condescending sometimes. And there are probably softer and gentler ways that I could say stuff sometimes, but also, like, I'm not really interested in pacifying egos, right? We do that enough. Somebody else can go and tell you how great you are and how wonderful you are and how, like, at least you're trying. And it's like, yeah, no. That Queen of Cups has left the building. Or at least here, There are plenty of Queen of Cups out there, though. So if you want that, I'm sure you can find someone who will give it to you. I'm just not going to be that person. And it's not that I'm going to intentionally not be that person, because that's not my intention either, of course. But if it calls for it, then I won't be. You know what I mean? Because again, it's like the time of babying and pacifying and stuff like that. It's nearing its end. It's time for us to do better. Ooh! Ooh, the Emperor, the Fool, the Ace of Cups, and the Emperor. I feel like this is Empress energy starting to go out. Empress energy is starting to go out. Preaching to the Virgo choir. Are you a Virgo too, Kizzy Cat? That's so, I feel like I attract so many Virgos. What? Even in real life. My best friend is a Virgo. A few of my best friends are Virgos. I think this is that Empress energy going out, finding that Fool that is capable of holding her water. Or, oh, snap. Okay. Oh, well, welcome. This is Empress energy going out, finding that which is capable of filling her cup and holding her raging waters and making him an emperor. Because again, it's the Empress that makes the emperor. Oh, something smells like maybe pancakes. See, now y'all can see how that thing just be blinking up there. I'm like, excuse me. You see that? I'm just going to wait here. Thank you. Goodness. Oh my gosh. Come on. And the fool is the one that marches to the beat of their own drum, right? It's the one that follows their heart. It's the one that follows spirit. It's the one that can tap into a more rightful order of things. And it's interesting because in the capable of making his own sandwich, exactly. You're hungry? Go into the kitchen and make yourself a sandwich. And then, maybe while you're at it, ask her if she wants one. And she'd be like, oh my gosh, babe, you're so thoughtful. Yes, actually, I would love a sandwich. Thank you. And then, you know, when you make love at night, it's all the sweeter. That's not why you do it, right? Because we're not those nice guys that are only nice because, you know, they want something from a woman or from another guy or whoever. We're nice guys who are, like, actually nice, right? Let's be those nice guys who are really nice and not just those, like, nice guys who use kindness as one of their manipulative, deceiving tools in the narcissistic tool belt. Okay, let me not go too far, but, you know, it's true. I know plenty of nice guys, and they just go. It's like, yeah, but you're not really nice. I wish that it would stop doing that. Because now I have to use it manually. And it's supposed to be a smart light. So that blinking, it's like the light resetting. And so it clears out of my phone. And so I can't just go, hey Siri, turn off the overhead light when I'm laying in bed at night. I gotta get out of bed.
The overhead is not responding.
I know the overhead isn't responding because it keeps resetting. But anyway. I gotta do it old fashioned, which is fine, you know. I'm not so averse to getting out of bed that, you know, I can't turn off a light. Ooh, who are you? The Four of Pentacles. This is interesting with the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Didn't know if I was at a rave or ascending. This low-key, this feels like some masculine energies who are like sneaking out in the middle of the night, taking some of the pentacles from the Hierophant, taking it back to the Empress. Low-key Empress is probably like, you know, like, I'm pretty much abundant. I don't need these Four Pentacles, but thank you. I appreciate your offering. Also, there is a Ganesh energy here. And Ganesha is holding the Ace of Pentacles. He's holding 3. He's in a space of collaborating. And again, it feels like this is minorly inconvenient for him. It's like with that one under the arm, I don't know how comfortably he's carrying these. But this is an energy that's willing to endure minor inconvenience for a greater good, for a purpose, for a reason. Excuse me. And I think one of the things that was really highlighted last year is how a lot of times we can allow for minor inconvenience to keep us stuck in situations that would be, it's an energy of prolonging things because we don't want to face a minor inconvenience, right? And that came out in many ways, right? And then it's like, you know, what inconveniences are acceptable and which aren't, right? Because there was I don't have to go all the way into it, but there was a whole lot of people, you know, protesting masks and curfews and saying that the government was terrible. But, you know, when people started protesting about, you know, hey, maybe we shouldn't just be, you know, killing some folks out here and without consequence, then all of a sudden it was so quick how the attitude towards like curfews and things like that changed when it was a different subject. And that's like last year there were so many things that were just illuminated. Maybe we didn't see them because, you know, everything happening outside of you is an illusion or whatever. But it was very revealing. It was very illuminating. Extremely illuminating. He's holding his pinnacle sandwiches. Exactly. And he even got the elephant to come in and help. Ooh, the Empress with the Six of Pentacles. I like that energy. I think it's also time for feminine energy in general, but especially in women, to, it's almost like a plant, right? There are certain plants that only grow to the size of their container, just like a goldfish. And we've been putting those energies in containers that are much too small. And so it feels like there's even an expansion that she needs to experience within herself. Well, that was the the 5 of Wands into the 3 of Wands, right? 3 of Swords with the Father of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Mm. Ooh, look at that little her ego. Aw. Is your ego bruised? I'm sorry, I can't help it. Come on, Patrick, be a little bit more high vibrational than that. It's just like it's time. Like, we don't have time to keep appeasing little bruised egos. And it takes too long when that happens. So, let's do this shift thing, and then we can go back and, bandage boo-boos and do stuff like that. Like, let's get to where we're going first and then go back. And it's not that we're necessarily leaving anyone behind, because that's not the point. But it's like we can't continue sacrificing progress and expansion and evolution and movement for those who would never sort of see it come anyway. Even sometimes for those who have a vested interest in us not moving forward, but we still try to appease them. Mother of Wands with the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. And again, see, she is withholding these eggs. It's like she's keeping them from hatching until the world is suitable. And I'll do one more. He's got to get over his hurt feelings. She's got to be able to feel that, what she brings into the world will actually survive. Because if it's not going to survive, then she's not going to release it. It almost reminds me of the Dream Carrier. These are some interesting cards at the bottom of the deck, by the way. And that it's like, after the dream is released, then she can't protect it as she did when it was in the womb. Alright, last one. The 9 of Pentacles with the Mother of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I feel like this Mother of Cups, it's the space of divine feminine energy knowing that time is coming. So again, it almost feels like, that's interesting. It feels like she's looking for masculine energies to seed. She's seeding the masculine. And it's this energy, it's like, because there are things that Hierophant neglects to teach him. And so it's like she has to come in and do it. At the same time that she's empowering other feminine energies. Or something. I don't know. That's interesting. We don't typically, think of feminine energies as seeding something. We typically think of feminine energies as, receiving something and then nurturing that into something more. I think she's seeding because she can't nurture something within us. She can only nurture within herself. But as a nurturer and a provider, she knows what we need to be nurtured. And that's what she's seeding us with. But again, it's like it's something that we have to nurture. So she's not nurturing us. She's seeding us with something that we will then nurture, that nurtures us and puts us in a position to collaborate with her on a more equal level. And not one of these skewed levels where it's like, you can be intuitive or whatever as long as you operate within my framework and within my guidelines, and as long as you are not more intuitive than me. As long as you are not more powerful than me, then you're fine. And it's like, yeah, no, it's time for that stuff to go. Sorry. Not sorry at all, actually. I don't know why I just lied to you. I'm not sorry. But that's what I got today. I hope you have a good one, everyone, whenever you see this. Thank you, Even Kizzy Cat, for coming in. It was fun. Hopefully this helps some masculine energy out there, transmute something. Don't listen to Patrick when he's like, you're weak. You're a weak man because you feel like less of a man for anything that's outside of you. You should be confident enough in yourself that you never feel like less. I could have said it better. I didn't want to, I guess. I still don't necessarily want to. I do. Well, what I care about the most is us moving forward. Right? So if I got to be a little extra nice, even when it's time to go, you know, there's different people for different people. If you need a pat on the back, go somewhere else. Sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. It depends on where the energy is. And I can't be so fire and air averse. And I'm like, where's my water? No problem. I'll catch y'all later. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment. Fulfilling your assignment. I'm just playing. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Sometimes we got to do a little bit more acting before we do any experiencing. So, with that, I will bid thee all a good day, evening, morning, night, or whatever. Again, whenever.